I was about to give myself a lisp too early. I've got half a scoop of super Thavage running through my system. A full scoop right first thing in the morning is a little too freaking crazy. But 8:33 departure time. I doubt this lift is going to take more than 30 minutes, and then I've got an hour of cardio. So I don't know. I'll think about it. If I want to do the full hour on the treadmill or split it up 50-50 with 30 minutes on the treadmill, 30 minutes on the seated bike, or something like that. Sometimes changing it up, like doing different machines for your cardio, can make it easier. Like if you're doing 30 minutes, 10 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the bike, 10 minutes on the elliptical, that's much more interesting than just 30 minutes straight on, one machine. But sometimes by just sitting in the same machine and you really get into your phone, you can get yourself in this trance kind of state, and then time just passes by super quick. Like that's what I really want. I want to feel like I'm just completely not even doing the cardio and I'm just watching whatever I'm watching, and then boom, 60 minutes passes like nothing. Right? At least ideally. But no, plan for this morning's lift is going to be some back. So last back day was, I don't really remember what last back day was. It was, I can't remember. Either way, this is not going to be a super crazy, heavy, like 3-plate bent over row kind of back day. Much more light squeezing. Actually, no, I remember now. Yeah, I started on the chest supported upright row and then did some pull downs with a pullover to finish, or something like that. And that's what today's going to look like. Same thing. Squeezing rows, squeezing pull downs, just not too crazy. So what I really want to do is kind of just take everything but my back out of the equation, which, is kind of obvious, right? Like I don't want to work my forearms and my biceps for, every pull down or every row that I'm doing. But sometimes in an off season, if I'm going a little bit heavier, you almost have no choice but to get some of those secondary muscles activated at least a little bit. But dieting down, much less so. Like especially with lighter weight, like if you can throw around the stack on the pull down machine at Planet Fitness, that's about 260. Then look, man, if you're doing 200 or even 180 on the pull down, and you're like really properly, using your straps and everything, you can pretty well like basically relax your upper arm all the way from like your shoulder and beyond. And that's what I want to do. So if I'm in the pull down, let's say I'm doing like a medium wide grip, just straight bar pull down. Once I get the straps on, I don't want to send any signals to my forearms to contract. I'm not shooting any signals to my biceps to help me with the movement. All I want to be thinking is like pulling my elbows downward with my lats, like basically toward the the base of my waist, or more like my kind of lower back or so. So that's one benefit. Some guys, and this is kind of an idea that I haven't heard people bring up. I think we've all kind of gotten the gist that using straps for back day is solid. There used to be a very strong argument of like, well, if you can't lift it without straps, you shouldn't be lifting it. But we've kind of gotten to the point where we know like the actual benefit of using the straps isn't just because you're trying to like ego lift too heavy. It's because it's letting you take your forearms and your biceps totally out of the movement, and you can really like actually feel your scapula engage. Like I don't do these. I've never really felt the benefit by doing them. I've tried them before, but they're essentially like scapula pull-ups where you're hanging from a bar, and instead of like actually doing a pull-up, all you do is kind of retract your shoulder blades back and forth. So there's a little bit of an up and down motion. I don't really love doing those. Like I don't necessarily see the appeal. I'd rather just do the pull down itself or the pull up. But it's kind of a good mental like imagery. Like it's very easy to think about how your bicep is working. You're looking at it right here. It's flexing, contracting, it's pulling your arm upward. Same thing with your triceps, same thing with your chest. But your back's a little more interesting, because you got shit going on back there. So the way I think about it normally is like I've got these two plates on my back that are my shoulder blades. So in a row, they're kind of rolling forward. And then as I squeeze, I pull them together back so that they kind of, I want them to like pinch almost. And then same thing with the pull down. I kind of raise them and open them up out the side, and then they come down and squeeze together at the bottom. So maybe just look up like an anatomy chart that might give you kind of a better idea of how to visualize that. Because you don't have to think, think of your entire anatomy all at once, all the time. But if you get at least semi-decent understanding of like where your muscles actually insert and what they look like and what they're doing, instead of just thinking like, okay, 10 reps of pull downs, actually like putting yourself into your back and pulling from like your mid traps and your lower lats and everything, I think the reps that you execute are just going to be better because you actually kind of know what's going on. You're not just like somebody who can throw a javelin is thinking very differently than if I just tried to do one. Like they're thinking the proper technique, they know how to actually like get in the groove of it, whereas I would just think, okay, I'm going to try to throw this thing, and the performance difference is going to be very drastic. But I think nothing else to say, so let's just get this freaking lift started. I know I just made that whole shtick about using straps, but for these light alternating single arm pull downs, it's light enough that I can kind of get away with just using my hand. So I know I'm kind of like defeating my own argument, but straps are going to be involved. But since I'm switching every 5 reps, it doesn't make as much sense to take it off, put it back on. You know what I'm saying? But only 170 here. Let's just make this shit burn, really. No. I think 2 of those are going to be good. Or 2 more, rather. One more. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Actually, let's stay right here, but let's change it up into a row. I haven't done these for a while, but they are a staple of at least my last prep towards the end of it. So seated row, straight bar, wide-ish grip, but since I'm doing it on this pulley that has like an extra set of, an extra pulley instead of the one-to-one connection of the regular seated row, it's just a little bit more of like a smooth momentum kind of feeling. Like if I rip reps really quick, the tension is still very constant. Whereas if you really throw reps around the seated row, like with the just where the cable's directly connected to the weight, it's you just start getting a little more jerky, you know. Yeah. 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 Okay. Two more of those. Yeah. Okay. One more. Boy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's use the same attachment. Do a set of wide grip pull downs. And I think we're nearly freaking pumped. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Yeah, shit, I think that's all. Let's see, we're freaking looking pumped up. So that's what? Quick 7-setter? That's about right. All right. Yeah, that did not take too long. 7 sets total. So some lat focused pull downs. And in those, I was really trying to squeeze like my deep lat, like where it ties in. We'll see in a second. And then those cable rows with the wide bar, those were really good. I think I need to start making sure I have that in these back days going forward. Because I'm getting my whole back, you know, mid, upper kind of traps, everything, but even like deep traps where they tie in together in the middle without having to go too heavy. And I feel like they get a really solid stimulation. But let's just see how we're looking for the backside. So this is what I mean when I say that mid trap. Like you got traps up here doing this shrugging action, but then your trap's kind of deep into this like diamondy look. Like seeing it's like that little gap That's where I want to feel in the back of every row, or at least, those lighter squeezing ones. But let's see what kind of Christmas tree we can elicit. There we go. That's what I want to see. All right. No point waiting. Let's just head straight over to get my cardio done. Then we can debrief in the car. Yeah. So this is what I mean when I say lower, like lat tie-in, like right in there where it comes to a point. That's what I want to feel at the bottom of every one of those single arm rows, or pull downs rather. But let's get in the car. There we go. Yeah, that was a long hour on the freaking, not exactly a bike, not exactly an elliptical. It's something in between. It's something in between. It's like this seated kind of pedaling, but it's not really pedaling because it doesn't just rotate sort of situation. Either way, I like it, and it lets me pass the time by pretty quick. But I'm really excited to get back home and get this thing edited together, because I can actually see how the pose down looked on the big screen. I felt decently grainy, and right now I'm starting to feel the effects of some lack of calories, a little bit more so than over the last few weeks, which is just part of the deal. But it makes it take just a touch more energy to really lock it in on a set by set basis. But that's just part of that's just sort of a translating of the difficulty. Like in an off season, the dieting side of things, like actually like eating, the amount of food that I'm putting down, that's not so tricky. That's actually the fun part that makes it easier to bulk up, is the fact that eating all that food is like basically just freaking fun and very enjoyable. So I make the training extra wild by, well, for one, being carved up and full and completely over recovered and growing, and then like basically just pushing the limits on like a set by set basis of how intense I can go, which is actually like that's the style of lifting that I really like. Whereas right now, some of the difficulty is kind of transferred from the set by set basis. Like, I'm still going hard, of course, but I'm not trying to like leverage insane weights or, really push any kind of PR or anything. And then the real hard part isn't even action. It's, goodness, it's inaction. It's the act of not eating. So that's my plan now. I'm going to get home and try to conceive the most filling meal that I can for about 500 calories. I can say this with certainty. Rice cakes will be involved. Rice cakes will be involved. I think some canned chicken is going to be involved. Some low sugar barbecue sauce will be involved. But beyond that, I guess we'll just have to freaking see. But that's pretty much all I got for that, for this kind of return back day. I'm definitely ready to get some food in my system. So, yeah, shit. I guess I'll just see you tomorrow.